Parry. No, he doesn't parry it in time. He step. He can, but Raven's follow-up actually punishes it. I wonder if that's true, actually. I wonder if he can duck after. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Did I do it? No, yeah, he can't even duck in time. So this is a punish either way. At least with Raven. So Raven actually, she does well with that. Just always go for the 10 frame, it seems. Let's try the other way. I might just catch it. Let's see if that's consistent. Ah, okay. So if he steps that way, it's actually quite good. Let's see if that catches 1-2. Interesting. So that leads me to wonder if he can do the parry. That'll catch this, and it will. Okay. I see. It's pretty strong, actually. So what that means is, against, I would think a lot of characters, actually, he can kind of do this for free. And even though he's -9 on block anyway, it's still, he's still like setting up a mix-up. Like he's forcing a decision from his opponent. Because even backdashing is tough. If you backdash, you could go for that. Of course, you could duck. Well, backdashing might still work, actually. Ooh, backdashing is not a bad option. That's 0 on block. Dang, that is some good frames. And it tracks. Tracks really well, actually. Good lord. Yeah. Can't get out of that. It's really good. But it is a high. Of course. Maybe the option is backdash and duck. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's see if that's the case for all of his moves. Definitely work for that. Okay. Steppable? It is steppable. But be careful about stepping immediately. Because he's so negative after 1-2-4, he will actually catch you. So a late step, if you want to go for that, does seem like an option. Oh, that was interesting. Keep in mind it is -15. So if you're not Raven, you could probably punish it. What else does he have? Oh yeah, the 2. Let's go with that. So we can at least counter hit it. And then keep in mind, the second hit is a high. So far, backdash and duck seems like the option. What else is there? Just this guy. This guy is a little nervy. Might be able to catch me in my backdash. Let's find out. Yeah. He goes so far. Steppable? Kind of steppable. Can we do it early? Yeah, actually. We're plus 21 there. So if we're ready, we can actually punish him. Oh, that's especially nice. The other way? Same option. Very interesting. Of course, if you have a 15 frame launcher, it won't matter either way, but if you don't, you can at least make them with it. So, that's an option. But it still catches our backdash duck plan. So that's unfortunate, but we'll take it. What else does he have for this? Yeah, he's got that. Let's see how that works with backdash duck. Pretty good. I can't believe that's not launch punishment. That leads me to think that actually the best thing to do is backdash low parry. I mean, this is assuming your character doesn't have a 13 frame punish. He's also got this guy. Oh, and the reason I'm not even trying step is because it's a homing move, obviously. So let's try the forward 4, the slowest option, which Leroy is likely to go for if he finds you respecting that stance a little bit too much. And it'll probably catch our step, actually. That's something that we'd have to react to if we do backdash duck. This is kind of a counter to backdash duck, actually. So I'm thinking, I actually didn't need to do that. This is probably where step will come in. Yeah, we barely need to step and it's fine. Well, maybe it's best to sidestep to the left. That seems to be the pattern with a lot of his moves from this stance, apart from this one. Just be sure, actually, that I can't step this. It is steppable. It's just hard. Can I sidestep, or is it have to be a sidewalk? Looks like it has to be a pretty early sidewalk. That's tough. Actually, if he does this, will sidestep duck work? No. Yeah, that will catch it. Let's try standing 1. It's a nice slow move, but I think the range is poor. Yeah, the range is quite poor, so backdash will work there. But okay. Okay. So a deep backdash. I would block first. In fact, actually does crouching extend my hitbox forward? Actually, I think it may. If I do the same thing but crouch, it will hit me. Yeah. So crouching is actually dangerous there. I didn't see. Is that unsafe? No, -6. Let's see how stepping works with this. Very linear by the looks of it. Well, it tracks okay to the right side, but not so much to the left. Yeah, you could pretty much just start a sidewalk if he goes for that. Is that also the case for this? Oh yeah, we tried that already, but I want to see if the early sidewalk will do it. It does. Okay. Is there anything else from this stance that I'm missing? Back 1? Or is that... Oh yeah, that move. That looks very steppable. Let's see. Backdash first. Okay. Ooh. Better tracking than I would have expected. +4 too, dang. That's a good move. So stepping is the best option, actually. A small step and then I guess a small duck. My only fear with that is this is so fast. Let me do the full follow-up, actually. Let's see what that yields. So if you do a late step, it'll work pretty nicely. Natural combo. This is on block. Minus 14. So we get a nice back 4-4. That's not terrible. But it's dangerous. I think that 1-2-4 is not a bad mix-up move for Leroy. I forget, does it step below? It does not, yeah. So stepping to the left against Leroy's Hermit stance does not seem like a terrible option. Backdash will cover a few, but not very many. How plus is this? +4. It's quite strong, actually, for a homing low. That is only, I think, minus 13 on block. Let's find out. Yeah, only minus 13 on block. That's a good low. Okay. That's okay. I think that's everything with Hermit? Yeah. That's pretty much everything with Hermit. Go, sugar. Really real quick, I actually forgot this important part, that it is steppable. Once again, to Leroy's right. So you will be stepping to the left. Then you'll see that he's doing the 2, and then you duck it. I mean, you should be doing that either way. If he does just 1, which I think is the more likely option. Let's see how the frames. -6 on block, that's pretty good, actually. Then you can punish it. I'm sure, actually, you can just interrupt it, even if he goes for the follow-up. Yeah. You have plenty of time to do that, actually. Cool. So now I definitely want to look at this guy into that stance. And I want to go under the assumption that I've been hit by it. Now we're looking at our options after being hit by it. So we're going to go through the same moves, but now with Leroy being plus. And with this being +8, we can pretty much go under the assumption that the same logic will apply if he does a move that like hits you and puts him into Hermit stance. Maybe with the exception of, what's that move? This one. Oh, that's also +8, so that'll make it easier for us. Okay. So, let's try first. What? What are our options against what? Well, we can counter hit. We can counter hit that at the very least. Which is actually pretty good, unless he delays it. Like, if he delays it, that should catch a jab. Yeah, it does. The animation's actually really cool. Wait, does he get a combo from that? I just want to test this out. Let's see if that works. I gotta mash up forward 3-4. Let's find out. Okay, that's good. That would be a little crazy if you could. Alright, so back to on topic. So if he does that, I think Dick Jab would work. Dick jab will stop that at least. So he's like too fast for his own good there. Just gonna make sure that that's the same situation there. Yeah, same situation. In this case, he's not fast enough. So it might be hard for Leroy to do a move that goes into Hermit and then use that move effectively in a way where it'll actually like avoid, or rather actually parry something. Because if he does it from this, he has to delay it. And if he has to delay it, that means that he might get hit by a slower move. So it's actually not a super good situation for Leroy to even go for this. Especially since I'm pretty sure that this move is slow enough that even though I get hit, I can sidestep. I totally can. Go backdash. Can't really backdash, but I can sidestep it. So that move isn't great. Next we have 2-1. Let's see what we got from this. So that practically, like, almost looks like a jail. Like, we can duck it for sure, but we certainly can't press. Even parry? No! Yeah, so that's, Raven can't parry. She stepped though. She cannot step. So it looks like this move, you just gotta take it. Or like, read a duck. Problem is, that brings that move. At least it doesn't combo or anything silly like that. But it will shut down anything that she has. She certainly can't step it. She can't really do anything. She can parry. That's kind of it. In fact, I wonder if we use 2-1 and Raven goes for the regular parry. Well, that'll avoid it at least, but a Leroy who's ready for that can definitely punish it. So what's next? We got the low. Let's see our options for this. Can she step? She cannot step. Oh, she really can't. So that leaves us with basically this being a real mix-up. You gotta guess between high-low. That's where the Hwarang comparisons come. And it's minus 15, so Raven can't do much more than a forward 4. But at least it's something. So far, though, from Hermit, after a down 3-2, blocking low doesn't seem too terrible. This is a mid, kind of reactable mid, though. Can she interrupt this with either a jab or maybe a dick jab? Doesn't look like it. Low parry? Not low parry, but a regular parry. Or I guess I can't. That works at least. So that's the mix-up, really. The thing is, if he goes for that, and he like really believes in it, but it doesn't work out for him, he's gonna eat a punish. Not a terrible punish, considering this is Raven, but if you're Brian and you're using jet upper or something, that's really gonna hurt. So that's that mix-up. The unfortunate thing is that that's 0 on hit, so it's kind of resetting the neutral, but Leroy is fine with that. He's got so many parries. His jabs are so good. Say, if I even try to jab or do anything slower than a jab, that will work. If I go for a 12 frame, I'm eating 47 damage as a counter hit. So Leroy he commands respect. So it's pretty scary. What else do we have from Hermit? Oh yeah, 1+2. Let's see our options against this one. Definitely can't step. Yeah, stepping is not working. And if we're ducking, we're eating 30 damage. And if we're ducking at the wall, we're eating way more damage. So that's where ducking becomes a little dangerous. It just goes to show that this move is just so good. And is definitely a Hwarang type move. It's basically the same thing. Down 3-2 rather than down 3-4. Although I think Leroy actually might benefit from it a little more. But I digress. Let's go with that move. So that's another situation where it's the low mix-up. He would only be eating 18 damage from Raven. Unless the Raven is crafty and went for a low parry. So, might actually be worth going for a low parry. If you're gonna block low at all when he's in Hermit stance, I think a low parry might be more worth it. Because she just doesn't get much from her 15 frame. Although you gotta actually land the combo. There we go. So it's a little bit more than her 15 frame. 51 damage, I think that's her max damage. The 15 frame is definitely okay, but I think if you're gonna block low against him, go for the low parry. I think that would be best. Because of course, blocking low is also avoiding his highs. These guys. Let's actually move on to forward 4. If he goes for forward 4, I doubt I can step it. Yeah, I really can't. Can I interrupt it? I sure can't, and I better not, because, I mean, that damage. Dick jab? Dick jab works. But isn't amazing. At the very least, if you're going for the low parry, and then you see him actually like whiff it over your head, it's pretty easy to while standing 1. Yeah, you're kind of given a lot of time to do that. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's also got that back 1. This guy. Probably a counter hit launcher. Interrupt it with a jab though. Can I interrupt it with a 12 thing? It's a trade. Yeah, and it's a counter hit launcher. But it's step. But that's a hard read, and it has to be a side walk at that. A side step will make you get hit by the ladder end, and I think at that point it's more plus actually. Yeah, we go from +7 to +9. So that's not great. So I think with that, best to just block it. Or if you're feeling real spicy, interrupt it. But I'm going with the best option being choosing between a high and low after Hermit. And if he does anything besides that, like back 2 or the step, then you start backdashing. Unless you did back 2, in this case you just jab him. So let's actually play with that a little bit. So down forward 1. Let's see how effective that is. Yeah. So if you're crouching, then it's just a matter of like, oh, I saw him step, so I'm gonna stand up now. It's still real fast though. But as long as you see that step, it should be fine. I think there's no reason to ever actually challenge Leroy if he goes in a Hermit stance from this, or else you're just in a world of pain. If he goes into Hermit from down 3-2, I think it's best to decide whether you're going to block low or block mid. But I don't think there's a point to trying to press something. Because the only moves that you're actually going to interrupt are going to be this guy. Probably that guy, I would imagine. What was it? Yeah, that one. But only with a 10 frame at that. So I think if you're going to press anything, if you absolutely want to disrespect him, go for a jab. But I don't recommend it. Especially because of this guy. Which I think is designed to hit people who are trying to jab after. It's a good move. I think I want to check this out. I want to see if I can float this with a jab. I sure can. That's good. It is only 0, so at the very least it's neutral. It's not super plus or anything. And it's back to neutral. And it doesn't leave him crouching or anything. So that's good. I'm sure we can also step it. Yeah, very steppable. Both sides? Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty good. I think that's it for this move, right? Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, if he does this and then just gets out of Hermit, I don't think we can actually punish. Nope, we sure can. Awesome. I think ducking the second hit, or rather the third hit, is best. I'm just going straight into that. Because it can be a little hard to stand up in time. You might get clipped. You don't want to get clipped. Not by this guy, with the amount of damage that he farts out. Of course, if he finishes it, you can just do that. But I think if he doesn't, he's safe. Oh, he's actually not terribly safe. Yeah. But I think that's better anyway. I wonder if it's possible to actually catch him in a counter. Oof. It looks tough. But I think that's the best thing to do. Although if you get really good, you can probably just time it. This guy. Can I step it? Nope, but I can duck it. The reason I think that it's worth ducking is because his high follow-up like that, it's pretty much happening at the same time. Let's see, actually. That's 27, 23. So, they're both pretty much happening at the same time. You can react. And if he goes for the mid, you'll notice it actually jails. So I'm holding down right now. So I think if he's 1-2 punching you, it's worth just holding down and visually seeing if he finishes it or not. And if he doesn't, then you just go straight into your 10 frame punisher. So I don't think he can avoid that. Let's find out.